What's going on, YouTube? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. We are hanging out. It's a Wednesday. We got some things to talk about yet again. Off the cup here, just wanting to discuss something that came up, which often happens in this community. I haven't done a good solid show in a couple weeks. I was sick there for a minute, and with everything else going on, but I'm glad to be here today. I'm glad to talk about something that I think is very important. As always, we're going to take some time to let some folks get in, start hanging out. Why we do that, I want to address some updates for the channel. I know that, like I said, it's been slow for the last couple of weeks. I was sick for about a week there. We got a lot of things rolling out over the next couple of weeks. I do have my Friday night live show this coming Friday. I have an awesome video dropping tomorrow that a lot of people have been waiting for. It's top 10 comic books released in 1981. I am working on a video series that's going to go through each decade, and we're going to take each year and talk about the top 10 keys released in each year. So look for that. It's definitely exciting. I released the year 1980, about 2 weeks ago. If you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. Moonchild, what's going on? Simon, what's up, guys? So again, just taking a few minutes to let some folks get in before we talk about Censored. What in the world am I talking about here? We will get into it. Comic book canon this Sunday. Really excited about this show. We have awesome special guests, Danny Girl Comics, coming on to hang out. If you guys aren't familiar with Danny Girl Comics, check out her YouTube. That's Danny D-A-N-Y. D-A-N-I. So go check her out. Give her a follow. She's going to be our special guest co-host this Sunday. Comic book canon, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. What else is going on? Let's see. I got a lot of videos in the work. I don't have any Whatnot live sales scheduled. I'm actually going to take a poll, folks. I'm thinking about doing my next sale via a YouTube claim sale. So feel free to always let me know. Let me know in the comments right now. Hit me up via Gmail or private IM me on Instagram and just give me your thoughts on if you would be interested in that next to doing another Whatnot auction. Obviously, I'll do a poll here on my YouTube channel as well, just to kind of get a feel. I think that's the way that I'm going because of a lot of issues with Whatnot right now. I've been meaning to do a full-on live stream about all that. It's going to be juicy if I do it, but I'm giving Whatnot the opportunity to rectify the problem and find a solution before I come all ham on a live stream. But regardless or not, I will be talking about it. My tone and my approach is going to change just depending on if there is a resolve. But keep in mind, folks, these Whatnot issues have been happening for over 2 months now. Over 2 months, and it's mind-boggling. I do have connections with some of the guys there with Whatnot. So like I said, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt to try to communicate with me and figure out some type of resolve. I will keep you guys posted. I'm hoping to get a resolve over the next couple of days. Not sure that's going to happen. I know they're working New York Comic Con. They got a lot of things going on. It might be next week. Look for a juicy Friday Night Live next week, maybe, if that is the case. All right, so a couple other things before we get into topic of discussion. Ghost Jung, what's going on? I don't think I've seen you in a while. Maybe it's just me. I want to say big shout out to DJ Moonchild because we just basically made a transaction where he hooked me up with a Blue Yeti and some Yeti headphones for a nice lot of some comic books. So I will be using an awesome Blue Yeti mic for my live streams and my videos. I was previously using a very high-end, expensive Shure studio mic that I pulled from my music studio to record my YouTube videos with, but my cord on that has been out for months, so I haven't been using that. I'm very happy to have this new gear. Thanks to DJ Moonshot for making that happen. BBB, what's going on? Renovations. Hopefully that's a good thing. I'm still dealing with contractor issues 5 years in. Unbelievable. Artist dude, what's going on? Are we censoring Hump Day? No, absolutely not. We're going to address, hopefully, like pushing through types of censorship. Let's give it 2 more minutes before we start talking about the topic at hand, folks. Red Knight, what's going on? Man, I think that's about it, man. Oh, I do want to say, guys, this new props or flop segment that we're doing on Comic Book Canon, and for those that aren't subscribed to us at Comic Book Canon, guys, the link is below. You got to check us out, man. We do our weekly show every Sunday. If you don't catch it live, you can catch it on the replay. We have 2 segments now that involves all of you. We have Fresh from the Comic Shop, where if you guys enter, you can actually win prizes. We have an EGS slab comic every month that we give away for that segment. For more details, go check out Comic Book Canon. But now we have a new and improved props or flop segment where you guys get to post a picture of a comic book maybe you just picked up, or maybe you're looking to spec on or invest in, and you want to know what it's doing on the market, my market take, and if I'm going to give it props or flops. So go check us out at Comic Book Canon. Check out what you need to do for props or flops. It's also posted on my Instagram. Upload the comic to Instagram. Tell us what's going on, how much you paid for it, if you bought it, or if you're looking to buy it, and I showcase at least 3 every week on the show. So indeed. All right, guys, let's just get into it, man. Censored. What am I talking about? So there's been a lot of drama surrounding me within this community over the last couple of months. Drama that I did my best to not only avoid, sometimes it's unavoidable because there's nothing I could do about it if people want to do certain things on their accord, but definitely drama that I tried to, put the flames out, put the fire out, build the bridges instead of burning the kingdom, so to say. And it seems that every time I've tried to do this, nobody on the opposite ends ever wants to extend that same amount of humility, respect, or maturity in my book. Now, something came up over the last few days that it's a little different, but it goes along the same lines of just this drama. It seems like right now, for me at least, it's following me everywhere I go. And I want everyone that's here tonight watching to take in what I'm about to share with you. And I want you to give me your honest opinion. I want you to give me your, non-filtered opinion. Don't just come here and, if you're a supporter of my channel or friend of the channel or subscriber, don't just, respond to what we're going to discuss in a way that's, oh, this is what he wants to hear, right? Tell me what you truly believe I need to hear and what your true thoughts are on the topic at hand. Now, this involves a subscriber. I don't know if they're currently subscribed, commenting on my video. And we're going to share these comments. Now, I blocked their names out because I want to preface, as always, this is not pitchfork mentality. I'm not here to crucify anyone. I'm here to learn. And if this individual is watching or is still a supporter of my channel, I don't want to shame them. This is a learning experience for me, for them, for you guys, for everyone involved. So no names will be shared other than mine. Hey, Phil, what's going on? Right? I brought this up in recent past as well about how I really feel that oftentimes people watch a video and they come into the comment section and they leave their thoughts in the comments. I do believe that a lot of people, maybe they're not even consciously thinking of this. Maybe it's a subconscious thing. I believe a lot of people don't expect a YouTuber to respond in a way that may disagree with whatever they're saying. I do. I believe that maybe even on a subconscious level, they believe that if they're leaving a comment saying, oh, yeah, well, I really like this comic, or I didn't like that comic, or I don't know if I even if they're disagreeing with the YouTuber and what they're saying in the video, you know, they just expect somebody to, the YouTuber to heart the comment and move on, or heart it and say, well, thanks for watching, or thanks for sharing your perspective, which is all fine and gravy, right? But me, I like to communicate. I like to share my thoughts. You guys know me. You know that. And not in a bad way. But I tell you guys this, and I tell you this from all the loving places of my heart. If you watch a video and you disagree with me, or maybe you just say something in the comments, I encourage you all to leave those thoughts. But please believe I will respond. And I will respond challenging you if I may disagree or have a different viewpoint or think that you're actually wrong and these are facts to prove that you're wrong. But none of those things are meant to be negative. They're not meant to be condescending. They're not meant to be cynical. They're not meant to be disrespectful. They're not meant to be negative at all. It's all a part of building constructive dialogue. How do we ever critically think if we don't challenge each other, right? This is why I always say I'm not a yes man. I'm not here for echo chambers. I'm not here for groupthink. I don't want you guys listening to me and taking what I say and just regurgitating it without doing your own thought processing and researching and studying, etc., right? Brew, what's going on? X11, what's going on? So I like to debate. And I always say this, arguing isn't a bad thing as long as we can argue respectfully. And I do believe that there's a few things to always consider. We're going to get into the comments, guys, in a moment, but this is all prefacing it. When you get into a debate or an argument, there's two main things. One is your opinion. Two, facts. Opinions and facts should always be in an argument, right? And there's no wrong opinion. There are uneducated opinions. You should be able to back up your opinion with fact or data or really solid, credible research and evidence. Because if opinion can't be backed up, an opinion can be invalid. There are valid opinions and then there are invalid opinions. And an invalid opinion is like me saying, well, it's my opinion that water isn't wet. That's your opinion, but I mean, how can we respect an opinion that is so far-fetched and has nothing to back it up, right? Always remember these things. Brandon, what's going on? Positive pushback. Absolutely. Thank you, Ghost Junk. I appreciate it. Thank you. So keep all of these things in mind before I bring up this back and forth that I had with this viewer. Argumentation is good. Debate is good. Okay? We should always challenge each other so we can learn from each other. Because sometimes there's some truth to both sides. But at the end of the day, remember, folks, this is just comics. Nothing should be so, intense that it goes down a rabbit hole of disrespect and hate and drama. And that's just what's been circulating around me as of late. Thunderdome. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring these comments up, folks. Let's see if, with my old man eyes, let's see if we can read this. Oh, man, can you guys read that? Is that, I hope you guys can read this, but let's see if we do full screen layout. That's a little better. Okay, guys, I'm going to read these comments and I want you to listen. We're going to read along and I want you to listen to everything that I say along the way. Okay. This was a video that I did recently about second appearances to invest in, right? I think as collectors, second appearances are very important. I think they oftentimes can be a bit undervalued and overlooked. So I said, why not? Let's do a video on it. In this video, I had Amazing Spider-Man 315. Okay. If you guys don't know, Venom shows up in Amazing Spider-Man 300, right? As his first appearance. But if you want to be technical and be correct, it's actually his first full appearance, right? Venom doesn't show up again until issue number 315, which is technically his second appearance, but more technically, his second full appearance. So, this individual, and again, we're leaving names out because this is a learning. This is to learn from today, and I want your guys' honest feedback. An individual comment saying Spidey 300 is Venom's second appearance. Okay? I hearted the comment. Why did I heart the comment? Well, because I appreciate the individual for watching the channel, right? And I appreciated the individual for taking the time to comment. But when it comes to first appearances and all that, we all know that there's gray area. So you guys know me. I love to debate this stuff. So I was like, oh man, let's talk about this. What did I say? I said, actually, 300 is his third appearance. If you want to be technical, he had a cameo in 298 and 299, but 300 is still his first full, which makes this, meaning ASM 315, his second full appearance. All right. And I know all the context and the little side labels can get a little confusing, but basically I was saying this individual is trying to say that I'm wrong by calling ASM 315 the second appearance of Venom. But if you want to get technical, this individual was wrong as well because, well, if you want to eliminate cameo and full, etc., you're wrong too because technically ASM 300 is the third time that Venom shows up in a comic book. But let's continue on with the commenting. The individual responded saying, I agree with your view, by the way, in terms of the technicalities of how CGC in the market order has placed it, but my personal opinion is that it is wrong. So I think what he's saying is he doesn't agree with me, but he's saying, you're right. You're calling it how it is called with CGC. Like CGC says exactly what you're saying, Chris, but I disagree. I think you and CGC are wrong. My view is that ASM 298 is a teaser / cameo, 299 is first appearance, and 300 is second appearance, 315 is third appearance. I respond stating this. Call 298 a teaser all you want, but he still appeared. This is what I don't understand with some folks. An appearance is an appearance. Therefore, 298 is his first appearance overall. You can't eliminate that fact. And here, what am I doing? I'm bringing in the word fact because now we are eliminating opinion. Venom appeared in issue 298 of Amazing Spider-Man. He appeared. You want to call it a teaser, you want to call it a cameo, I don't care. Venom appeared in 298. That is a fact. So technically, it is the first time Venom appeared in a comic, which would make it some type of first appearance in cameo or in teaser, etc. I go on to state this. 298 is his first appearance overall. You can't eliminate that fact. 315 is his fourth overall appearance. And again, that is a matter of fact because let's count. He appeared in 298, that's 1. 299, that's 2. 300, that's 3. And then 315, that's 4. There's 4 appearances for Venom. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. How you want to describe that appearance is where the gray area takes over. So this is where I put aside fact and we go back to opinion and say, I hear you though. You want to look at it differently. Your opinion wise, you want to look at it in your own way that lands in this gray area, and that's cool. That's fine, right? This is where the gray area takes over. But I've argued these points for far too long, and it's something that I don't waste too much energy on anymore. And I was just simply saying that, I've talked about it. I beat a dead horse. I don't really get into this much anymore because it doesn't really get anywhere. I further say the bottom line for me is that precedent does exist paired with textbook definitions that hold the context in place for what is considered a full appearance. All right. Let me check the chat real quick here before I go on. See what you guys are saying here. Comic Journey's in the house. Yep. Brendan. First appearance means they appeared for the first time. How we qualify it, cameo, full, cover, etc., is subjective. Nick Fury was in the I Am One film, but he wasn't credited until subsequent films. Iron Man 1 still counts. Exactly. Very true. I agree, Comic Journey as well, because, his head's there on the cover, right? Raising Elm, thanks for coming in. All right, guys, so, yeah, we're going to continue on here. I went on to say this, guys. Also, markets don't decide labels. Only definitions do. Markets simply decide value, and those values are indeed often dictated by the label. So this is what I'm saying. The market, meaning you and me, we don't decide the labels, right? The industry does. Marvel, CGC, databases, and don't get me wrong, sometimes they can be wrong or they can contradict themselves. It really boils down to the publishers, but we know that sometimes the publishers don't even come out with the clear dictation of the label itself. All the market does is decides value. But if the market perceives a label a certain way, that can drive the value one way or another, right? So they do correlate, but the market doesn't set the definition. Never. Knowing the difference of this is very important. Also, CGC doesn't fully dictate labels either, and oftentimes they are wrong or lack proper context. And that's because we don't have an industry standard, right? So the individual replied with this, guys, and this is where it started to get ugly. Okay, you're right. You know best. So I took that as this individual is being extremely cynical and sarcastic. And I think they were taking my tone out of context and thinking that I just came to be condescending or cynical myself, which was never the case. I'm just here to debate and have fun debating respectfully. So this is what I say to that. I replied stating, I'm simply entering this discussion with facts. Not sure if your last comment was meant to be cynical, but I hope not. No need for that. If you actually disagree with me still, please feel free to present facts and data to prove me wrong. By the way, just for argument's sake, Marvel originally declared 298 as Venom's first appearance without any other context, which backs up precedent and fact that you have to call it an appearance. Now, this is where it got really dirty, folks. Right here at the bottom. This individual responds back saying this, I think you need a psychiatrist. Instead of worrying about me and writing War and Peace to write me each time, focus on yourself, learn to accept criticism, and understand others' perspective. Well, yeah, other people do have perspective, but I was never not allowing other people to have perspective. You've got a real chip on your shoulder there, mate. All right, I did respond one more time, but I'm going to jump in here real quick. I read this and I do feel like, first off, I'm empathetic to the individual because I want to put myself in their shoes. And I think this individual was reading my words and just thought I was being an asshole. But I wasn't. Christopher, what's going on? I do believe that his response, though, is very hypocritical. Learn to take, what did he say? He said, learn to take other people's perspective. Well, you gave me your perspective and I gave you mine, and then you had a problem with it. So who really needs to learn to listen to other people's perspective, right? I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong here? It seems to be a deflection. This is my video on my YouTube channel. Somebody commented in it saying something that I disagreed with. I respected it. I thank them for being here, but then I gave my opinion that challenged theirs, but yet I need to see a psychiatrist and I need to learn to hear other people's perspectives. Does this make sense? Am I wrong? I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Like, am I really looking at this the wrong way? It's okay to be an asshole if you're right. I don't, I want to be respectful here. I want us both. And there's a matter of fact in this argument, but there is a lot of gray area, as I alluded to. I even brought up the fact that there's gray area, which means different opinions are valid when talking about appearances. They are, but only to certain extents. Fat Dad. Gary, I am still selling off some of my PC. Yes. Christopher, I like this. Brendan, always with some good insight. Everyone has the right to have an opinion, but having one does not equate it to being valuable. Opinions are only as valuable as the evidence that you have to back them up. Gotta bring that adult mentality. Agreed 100%. Lyric. All right. And I think Lyric has been one. I think Lyric, I think we've kind of got into some debates as well where maybe the tone, reading the words, we're not understanding each other's proper tone. But, just know that if I'm debating, it's never out of a place of to condescend or out of disrespect. But Lyric says, I think it could have ended differently. He said he disagreed with CGC and everything. He really had no facts to show. He just disagreed. Good point. Very, very valid point. Thank you, Gary. But again, I mean, going back to it, it's like, why does it have to be, is there any validation in somebody telling me that I'm the one that needs to be able to listen to other people's perspective? And I'm not asking this to be defended. I don't want you guys defending me here. I want your real answers, the truth that you feel. Was there a reason for this individual to get defensive and look at me saying, wow, you're sitting on a soapbox, acting like you're right about everything and I'm just wrong, and you can't hear different people's perspectives? Does anybody believe that that's the case here with the back and forth that you saw transpire? Agreed, Lyric. Agreed. No love lost. And I'm going to show my response, guys. I'm not, again, this is these are the things that I want everyone to learn today. Okay. I want to learn from this, from taking your guys' feedback in. But I want everyone else here to learn too. And I've talked about this before. I always want all of my viewers, whether you're subscribed to me or not, to be able to freely comment on my videos and express yourself. I always want you to be able to disagree with me, but I want you to know that you will always be respected if you're being respectful, even if we disagree. But again, I want you to know that I will challenge you. And I hope you challenge me too, right? Comic journey, I think it's a matter of the fact that when we talk about appearances and first appearances, there is facts, but there's that gray area where opinions matter. You know, he and I can hold different opinions on how we may label different things, but there was certain things in there that are still embedded in fact, right? I think some people have a hard time having any kind of debate and can't handle being proven wrong. I also think some individuals may have a hard time reading text. Yeah. So, Ghost Junk, let's look at the first part of your comment here. I think some people have a hard time having any kind of debate and can't handle being proven wrong. That's what I'm always accused of. I'm always accused of that. But there are many times where I will get in a debate and I will hear opposing viewpoints. But I think that I'm accused of this simply because it's a deflection. They are the ones that don't want to be proven wrong. They're the ones that don't have the capacity to respectfully debate. And it triggers something in them to then look at me as saying, why are you ruffling my feathers? Terry, what's going on? And then, yeah, you're right, too. And I think I chalk a lot of it up to not getting the tone. I do. Reading words on a screen, you don't have the tone. You're not looking somebody in the eye and listening to their voice. And I think some of that was there, too. And that's why I'm giving this individual the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not trying to crucify them. I really think maybe they were reading it like I'm being a dick, when I didn't mean to be. That was not my intent, right? No body language, exactly. Christopher Johnson. Yeah, I'm on Amazing Spider-Man I read through issue 5 so far. And I still don't know what they're doing with Peter Parker, man. It's killing me. It's killing me. The gray area is how we bring in those subcategorizations. The cameo, sneak peek, the full, that's where the gray area is, because nothing's etched in stone. What isn't gray is that Amazing Spider-Man 291 is Venom's first appearance, because he appears for the first time. Teaser, cameo, ASF 299 is a second cameo, whatever you want to call it. There's no gray area that Venom appeared for the first time in 298. But what you want to call his first full appearance, there is precedent that you can use to substantiate fact-based opinion, but there's still some gray there for sure. So we're going to bring up my final reply, guys. We're going to bring up my final reply here, just for, context sake. So remember, just to reiterate, we're going back and forth about first appearances, silly comic book stuff, right? Nothing should ever be so heated that it causes drama or hatred. He disagreed with me about what was Venom's second appearance. I presented some fact with my own opinion. They said their opinion, and I presented more fact. He said, okay, you're right, you know best. And I said, well, take a step back. I'm not, this is a respectful debate here. No. And he came back at me saying, I need a therapist and I shouldn't be concerned. I can't accept criticism. There's no criticism here. It's simply about perspective. That's true. And I can't take other people's perspective. This is what I said. My final reply. Your responses are very interesting, to say the least. I'm not worried about anything or anyone. I'm having a fun civil discussion, a fun, respectful debate about the thing that we both love, comic books. It is interesting that when someone has a disagreement with me in my comment section, they actually project what they are doing and then blame me for it. It is not I that needs to learn to accept criticism. Criticism actually has nothing to do with our back and forth. It's not like he's telling me, Journo, your videos are boring. You should do this. Or I don't like the way that you talk. You're too excited, or you're too loud, or like there was no criticism. We just disagreed on a subject. I further stated this. Criticism actually has nothing to do with our back and forth. What our back and forth does consist of is differences of opinion and understanding of fact. It's not criticism. It's simply a disagreement. So, why am I not allowed to respond to a comment that I disagree with on my own video? An honest question, do you simply wish to state your opinion and expect me to sit and take it? That's not how this works, respectfully. I'm not just going to heart your comment and say, thanks for commenting. Let's actually discuss and critically think about the topic at hand. Look, I think intent gets lost in translation when we just read typed words. But my intent was never hostile, cynical, or anything negative. Having respectful debate is a healthy thing. I'm sorry that it seems that you can't seem to partake, or maybe you're just deep in your own misunderstanding. Anyways, my door is always open. You can always contact me privately on IG or via email. Saying I need a psychiatrist was definitely out of line, but I'm not going to take it personally. I leave here with no bad blood. It's all good. So, again, let's pull this back up. Nuckin, what's going on, Nuckin? 298 being the first McFarlane has nothing to do with what's on the pages of the book, though. So, yeah, obviously it's the first McFarlane on the Amazing Spider-Man run. That has nothing to do with the characters inside of the book. So that's a fact. It's also a fact that Venom shows up for the first time at the end of 298. But according to precedent, ASM 300 is the first appearance of Venom in full. It's his first full appearance, even though he appears in 298 and 299. What do you call those? That's up to you. But we're not sitting here arguing cameos and full appearances. It's not what this stream's about. I don't put much energy into that anymore. What we're discussing is the fact that it seems as if people want me to censor myself on my own channel in my own comment sections. Debating, X11, debating is asking questions and processing info. Speaking is what most people want to do without the processing. Love it. Hey, look, man, I ain't gonna hide it. I see a therapist every day. Oh, excuse me, every week. I see a therapist once a week. I suffer from PTSD. I see therapists every week. So I don't like the stigma on the mental health here saying that I need a psychiatrist. That's, but again, I'm trying to give the individual benefit of the doubt, thinking that I was coming at him a different way. Larry, I like that response. Thank you for saying that. Logical is good. It's hard to misread a comment with this many clearly fair and kind statements. Not sure. Well, thank you, Ghost Junk. Thank you for stating that. That gives me a little context, and I hope you're not saying that just to like, egg me along positively. I'm sure you're being honest. Reef. We're not talking about whatnot tonight, guys. Nuckin, you're arguing the semantics of appearances, and that's all up for conversation. And that's what but I'm not debating that today. But yeah, I mean, like you're saying, well, in 345, the goop drops on his hand, but it's not Carnage's first cameo until 360. So what you're doing to argue, like, well, 344 first appearance of Cletus. He's a man named Cletus. Yep. The goop drops in his hand in the next issue, but it's a teaser of the symbiote. It's not really Carnage. We get a first cameo in 360. So you're actually presenting your opinion, but you're stating things that back it up as fact. It's like, I have this data, and these are the reasons why I believe this to be true. And people can argue against you, but you've solidified a solid argument, right? And I can sit here and say, no, I believe 345 to be the first ever appearance of Carnage because we see the symbiote goop. And you can sit here and say, well, no, because it's not bonded with them and we don't actually see Carnage. And we could go back and forth and argue, but never should it become disrespectful or, and I'm going to tell you, I believe that Nuckin, I believe you would prove me wrong factually, but then we can agree to disagree and go about our day, right? I mean, that's how these debates should happen. Nobody should be saying, all right, you're just an a-hole. You can't hear other people's perspective. You need a psychiatrist. Stop worrying about whatever, right? Brandon, blasphemy. You're speaking blasphemy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, fun debate. Nucky, man. I love it, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. We can even yell at each other. Who saw the debate between what's his name? Mad Dog with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith and Matt Russo, is that his name? The sports pundits, that they were arguing against Barry Bonds' 73 home run season next to Judge getting the 62. Those two personalities in one room together, they were yelling. That, Matt Russo with his East Coast accent. Oh, yo, he's going. And, Stephen A. Smith and how he gets, and they're like, they're in a dogfight. But when they were done, they were smiling and laughing, and it's all for fun. You think that they got up and started throwing chairs and started, throwing things? I mean, come on, guys. They like talking about sports. They get passionate about it. They're going to yell and scream, but it's all for fun. Never should the comic book hobby in the comic book debates get us to a point to where we take it so seriously that we start burning the proverbial bridges and, stooping to a level of thinking that our intent is in any way disingenuous or disrespectful or condescending or anything of that nature should never get to that point, ever. Nuckin, now we talk about Gambit, we're gonna argue. We're gonna get into a real argument if we start talking about Gambit. Actually, you know what? When the Gambit argument comes up, you know what most people don't even talk about is that's one where there really should be an asterisk, because it was an error. It was an error in the timing of the annual's release. There should really be an asterisk. And now with that asterisk, you guys value the books how you want, you know, but at least put the asterisk there. Acknowledge that and say, well, I still want to value this book more. I'll pay more for this book because I see it like this, right? And that's why the market doesn't dictate the labels, but the labels can influence the market, and what we believe the labels can be can influence the market because it can influence how much we pay for a book. My hair is full of gray. I'm glad so few comics were worth money in the 90s. As long as Stephen A stays away from MMA commentary. I hear you, right? X11 isn't debating you guys today. Nope. Not at all. I have 2 annual 14s. I'm thinking about sending at least one of them to CGC. Nuckin, this is a good. Look, here's the interesting thing. This is kind of a technicality too, guys, right? Now, I don't think it was ever meant. This is different than the Gambit situation. I don't think it was ever meant for Secret Wars 8 to come out before 252. I think they knew when they were going into the Secret Wars storyline. But again, there's a stipulation around that because you got your story basically written up for the what was it? How many? 12 issues, right? For the 12 issues of Secret Wars that came out in 1984. And then for following those next 12 months. You can't release the whole story at once. So when they were coming out and they had to tie in the stories in the standard titles, you had to play catch up because it took a year for all those issues to come out. So that's why you're reading a Secret War, you know what's going on, maybe in the first few issues, but then ASM 252 comes out, and here comes Spider-Man, and he's back from Secret Wars. You don't know about the symbiote suit yet because you've only read the first few issues. You know Spider-Man's there, and he's a part of the Secret Wars and what's going on. No symbiote yet. But now he's in this black suit, and you're like, what the heck? You got to wait a few more months before you know what's going on. So it's a stipulation, but at the end of the day, Marvel had to do what they had to do on the editorial side and the release side, and they knew that they had to get to the story in the standard titles before all of the issues released. So it's a technicality that nobody could change. So unfortunately, first appearance is based on release date, and we can't change that. But I do like that all of those books are heavily valued. You know, I think obviously the Mike Zeck iconic cover of Secret Wars 8 helps out that it's an origin story and it has that amazing cover. So Bronze Age is hanging out. What's going on, man? Yeah. Yeah. Bronze Age. What's funny, like both of mine, they're high grade. They're high grade. They're at least very fine plus, maybe even into the near mint range. But I'm scared to press them. I pressed a few square bound books, but I don't even want to press these because I don't want to damage the spine in any way. So I'm thinking of sending them in as is, hoping that I don't get lower than like a 8.0, 8.5. So folks, you know, hey, it's interesting. We're just here chatting up about first appearances, but a great thing is we're all having respectful dialogue, man. And it's fun. When I, you know, was heavily in this discussion, in this debate, like I still stand firm, folks, that there is precedent. I know we don't have a concrete definition that's like slated. We don't have a comics authority of sort slating true concrete definitions of cameo versus full and this, that, and this. But I still stand behind the fact that there's enough precedent. Like people argue like, oh, well, a full appearance is you see him head to toe. That's not what full means. Like, it's not. It's just simply not. Why is it not? Not because of my opinion, but because if you look back at precedent, we know that full means pertaining to the story. How involved in the story are they? Are they fully in that story of that issue? That's what a full appearance means. We know that cameo doesn't mean that, oh, well, we don't see their full body. And then we go back to the actual definitions of things. And this should help us figure out how we want to throw these labels on books. But at the end of the day, no matter how passionate we get, we got to understand that good debates work with different opinions, different perspectives, and both people having the passion and some type of valid research, credible sources to back up their opinion. Those are the best, guys. They're not the worst. They're not the ones where you should be like, oh, you're an a-hole and you shouldn't, you know, you need psychiatry and you don't know how to listen to other people's opinions. No, these are the best because these are the ones that allow us to challenge each other the most. We got to, guys, we got to get off of social media, man. We got to get off of social media and stop being so reactionary to everything that everyone says on social media. I've said this before, man. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're fresh out of high school. I don't care if you're 40 years old or 60 years old. I don't care if you have a degree in college already. Go spend a few $100s at a community college and go take a debate class. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. Unless you really are like a megalomaniac narcissist, like, and you can't deal with. Go take a debate class, guys. Telling you, you will grow as a human being. I promise you, in a good way. Yeah, that full panel. So we'll talk about this real quick. I'm going to be wrapping up here shortly, but we'll talk about this real quick. According to precedent, Amazing Spider-Man 43 is Mary Jane's first full appearance. Why? Because it's the first time she's actually a part of the story. Okay? ASM 42 is your typical cameo. What is defined as a cameo? The typical, here comes a character on the back page or the back couple of panels, and you see them, maybe they say their name, they speak, they're there. That's the typical cameo setup. Mary Jane, though, also appeared in 2 issues before where you don't see her face, but she talks and she's there. So this is where gray area comes into play. Would you call these cameos? Would you call these teasers? I actually like the idea of using teaser as a subcategorization. I do. I like the fact that a cameo is when you still see them, you see their face, but they're only on a page or a couple of pages or a few panels, and then they're gone, or it's at the end of the book. I like teaser, but there's no precedent for teaser, really. But I mean, we can petition for it, but I will argue, based on not my opinion, but precedent and fact, that Amazing Spider-Man 42 is still a cameo, and Amazing Spider-Man 43 is her first full appearance because it is the first time that she is on multiple pages throughout the story, being a part of that story, period. Comic Journey. I love it. I love it. You New Yorkers, man. My family's from Chicago. Sicilian's from Chicago, so I get it. Right, okay, yeah. Mention in 25, and then she had the plant in front of her face in 38, right? So I guess you could say 25 is first mention, 38 first cameo technically, or first teaser. 42 would be second cameo, but 43 is first full appearance, hands down. Yeah, it does. And Comic Journey, this is where I disagree, not because of my opinion, or not because, look, Comic Journey, the way you define full right here makes sense. But unfortunately, you don't define it. You don't. You are not somebody that sits here and says, I believe a full is defined by this, therefore it is. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way for me either. Decades of precedent defines a first full appearance or a full appearance. And a full appearance is not being fully identified or fully seen, regardless of how many panels. That's not true factually based on precedent, period. I didn't make that rule. It's not my personal opinion. It's fact based on industry precedent, period. You could disagree with it. It's just like I disagree with the gas tax in California. It still exists. I disagree with giving students detention after 2 tardies, thinking that it's going to solve a problem or make them have better, lack of truancy issues. I disagree with that policy. Doesn't mean that it's true. It's still the policy that's in place. That's how it is. I disagree with, I don't know. I gave enough examples. You get my point, though. But anyways, guys. Anyways. And now you're just arguing to argue. But I love it. Comic Journey. You're going to hurt my feelings. I'm just kidding. What's the point of this here? We're not hurting feelings, guys. Yeah, 4 books for 1 character for Carnage. It's intense. What's Braun saying here? What's Braun saying? Oh, where did Braun's comment go? Just say it with me. If something has to be called a first full, that means it is not their very. I like this. I agree with this. If something has to be called a first full appearance, it means that they've already appeared in some form. Fact. Not an opinion. Fact. Thank you, Bronze Age. You guys, I hate you all because I don't even want to talk about this anymore. I put this to bed like a year ago. Okay, so Simon, this is a great question. There's no concrete written in stone definition. What we have, though, is Marvel and DC themselves calling certain books first appearances. We have industry standards from Overstreet, CGC, and the grading companies. And not that is written in stone either. We have databases like Key Collector. None of it's really written. It's the only thing I consider to be written in stone is the publishers. But even they stay away from it. But what we have is precedent from the entire industry. When you take the entire industry and you go back multiple decades, that's how you can formulate and see that it's not actually that hard. I know the Gambit issue is gray, but most of them aren't really up for debate if you look at precedent. They shouldn't be. They really shouldn't be. X11. Yeah, man. We got to get Brandon on and get in some more Tupac debates. Kill it, bury it, doesn't matter. Never stays dead. I love it. I love it, guys. Well, everyone, we're going to wrap up here for today. I really appreciate you guys. We actually had fun talking about this stuff after we presented the issue. Look, I want to, don't go anywhere yet. Let me state some closing words, folks. I really hope this individual that left these comments that I was discussing with on this video, I really hope that they, if they watch this or not, I do hope that they don't hold anything negative in. I'm not holding anything against them. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and chalk it up to just simple misunderstanding. I do. And I hope they could see that. I don't want them to carry any negative animosity or anything. I mean, if they unsubscribe from my channel or anything like that, I have no power over that. And that is what it is. Who knows if they'll ever watch my channel again? I don't know. But the bottom line is I'm not going to sit here and hold anything in against them. I really want to let everyone know here one last time. If you're going to go into the comment section on a YouTuber's channel, it doesn't matter how big they are. Like, I try to respond to everybody the best that I can. And you state an opinion of some sort, don't close yourself off to the possibility of that YouTuber responding with a different opinion and disagreeing. And if this does happen, allow yourself to respectfully engage in a fun, productive debate, because you never know, you both could learn a thing or two from each other. And look, if you're just not wanting to debate, just don't even reply. We don't need to always have the last word or anything like that. And again, let's not think that there needs to be any type of that animosity or resentment when somebody wants to debate. Maybe they just like debating because they like the hobby and the passion is there. All right. That's my parting words for all of you. Do your best to engage respectfully with people that might disagree with you. Don't go onto a YouTuber's channel, comment, and have them comment a different opinion, and then be like, nope, you're censored. You can't respond with your own opinion on your own video. This has to stop. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for joining. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please, guys, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I still make content multiple days a week, although I try to take a couple days off here and there. Friday Night Live this Friday. Comic Book Canon with special guest Danny Girl Comics this Sunday. Link below. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Be well. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. And until next time, peace.